يوم my guest كنت أفكر إنه بس بتخاف من العلوت، لا بتخاف من المايك كمان. وهنكتشف أكتر إنه about so it's a sport بس نفس الوقت there's a lot of performance, there's many things happening and I think there's many confusion about مثلا إذا أنا بكون قاعد و I see this show I don't understand كمان there's beyond that إنه في رياضة من وراها، في long preparations و practice وهيدا و it's not يعني نحكي شو عن اليوم the difference between just performing and being an athlete بهذا الموضوع كمان. هلا حنحكي شو هو بالضبط بس first I want you أكيد to introduce yourself. سارة أهلا وسهلا.
Hi.
من الآخر.
It's gonna get better. It's gonna get better.
أول شيء إذا هيك إنه كان تنسى على السريع إنه مثلا أكيد أول شيء إنه you went from school على الجامعة.
Yes.
Okay, what did you do first? Like, كيف صار شو صار؟
على base, I'm an architect, so I went into Alba. I started Alba and everything, and I thought I was pretty convinced that this is what I was gonna do. I guess I also went in it for the wrong reasons.
كيف يعني؟
I was looking for something where I didn't have to be stuck in books and like applying everything that is like read and write, and so I went for something that is more creative, which was at the time architecture. While I was in Alba, I discovered aerials, silk specifically. I did get to try everything else, but silk is the one that stuck with me.
وكيف يعني no it's not something that you would see هيك around you.
Okay, so one of my closest friends, she lives in the States.
Okay.
It's been now I think about 13 years. So at the time she was coming to Lebanon and she had been talking about this new thing that she's been doing that has been unbelievable for her, that is so hard but like so captivating. So like, Cynthia, what are you talking about? What is this? She's like, Sarah, I'm coming on vacation for 3 months to Lebanon and I cannot lose everything that I've worked for. So you have to find me a place where I can hang this. I'm like, what are you talking about? What is this? So she sends me what I need to know and I'm like, okay. First time in my life, I'm not the social media person. No Facebook, no Instagram at the time. Don't open them. Still up until now, I'm trying. So that specific day after our phone call, I opened my Facebook and the first thing on it, aerial silk workshop in Lebanon, but it was over. Like, I send it to her. There's an email, there's a phone number, there's everything. And she contacts them and they are okay with, more than okay with us coming there to share as long as we're all working together and doing it together.
بس هون تقريبا أي سنة كانت؟
That was 10 years ago, 10 or 11 years ago.
Okay.
No, more. Let's say 10 years.
Okay.
Around that. So.
The workshop.
Yeah, the workshop was over. So she comes to Lebanon and she drags me to this place. And she teaches me in about 3 hours everything she had done for about 15 sessions. And I've always been a sports person. So I didn't get sore, ever. The next day I wake up and I'm sore from head to toes. I'm like, Cynthia, what is this? I fell in love. That was it for me. That was like the thing.
بس هون كمان نرجع لورا. So first يعني when you mentioned it, what were you used to be a gym goer only ولا كيف قبل؟
I had gone through being a cross-country runner. I had gone through being a swimmer, a rugby player. Basically, everything you can imagine in sports except stuff with rackets.
Okay, fair enough. So لما فتوا على this place وهيك يعني مثلا أول شيء إنه when you looked at إنه لأنه كتول it's very basic. So you wouldn't know what to expect. يعني مثلا لما إنه silk and then تعلق. And you were like, okay.
No, I thought it was going to be like athletism, you know, like corde lisse or like stuff like that. I thought, okay, I will enjoy it, but like it won't be the thing. But then once I got into it, once she was showing me and everything was so hard and so complicated, it was like, I was managing. It was like, okay, I get it. It makes sense.
So moving forward, how did it happen? You went from this day to
So we did not have any aerial teachers in Lebanon, and there were just a few people who had taken that workshop, but nobody actually knew anything about it. But like after a month of doing the same things that she taught me, I wasn't gonna wait for her for a year to come back. So the thing is, I went on YouTube and I started downloading professional aerialists. And I was just watching their choreographies again and again and again and again. But until I pick up something that I want to try. And this is how I tried. This is how I started.
Most of your drills and things you learn.
At first, this was my mistake.
Exactly.
I did not have drills. I did not know what I was doing. Honestly, I was just watching and doing. Up until like I was training at some point for 10 hours a day.
Wow.
Like there was something crazy
just to
about
keep
it.
in mind وانت بعدك كنت بعدك بالجامعة.
Yes.
So كمان studying
and I was skipping university to just go train. I would like, you know what? I don't feel like dealing with this today, and I would just run away to that place.
And you kept training in a studio or facility, or you ended up eventually having it ببيتك.
I do have it in my house, but it's not high enough.
Yeah.
It's like
ما كمان إذا هون لأنه صرنا بنعرف شوي about it, إذا we can talk about it exactly. يعني مثلا إنه أول شيء لأنه it's يعني what we see as a performer مثلا إنه بنشوف مرات إنه كتير أنتوا بالسما أو معلقين على structure معينة أو whatever, بس كمان there's the training part اللي هي إنه بأربع حيطان معلقة أو هيك. So usually the training part يعني can you walk us through مثلا بتفوتوا على let's say you.
It's different if you're coming to take a class or if you're doing it by yourself. Everybody has a different process.
But the main idea بالclass is as long as رجليك ما بيضربوا بالأرض.
It's not about they're not touching the ground. It's about when you go up, there's something you want to do. And for me, it's more about something I want to express.
Yeah.
I don't care about what move I'm showing you. It's what I'm feeling that I'm putting out there. But like in a very hidden way, very closed way. I think for every person, it's different. For some people, it's just about going up and throwing yourself from the top, which, yes, it's fun.
Is it a mix of dance and gymnastics?
It is a mix of dance and gymnastics and calisthenics and any type
لأنه
of
في
sport.
choreography and أنت اليوم اللي طالعة إنه you prepared شيء معين that is gonna be for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
This is how it goes for me. Definitely. But I might change it on the spot depending on how I'm feeling it on the spot.
بس كمان لأنه I've seen some videos it's based on the music too.
Oh yeah.
مثلا you mentioned the drop إنه it's يمكن one of the basics, بس مثلا the drop is based on the beat كمان إنه يعني في قصص بتصير.
For me at least it should be like this is what will lead you to it. This is depends on the music that you're choosing. Your music is constructing what you're doing.
طب هي وين بتجي تقريبا where did it start, how did it start يعني مين اجى قرر انه حجيب هلا it's gonna be شوي هيك offensive شقفة تيسيو علقها ب hook.
It started in the old circus days.
Okay.
They used to do those acts. I'm not specifically sure who started it. I tried to research it but I couldn't find exactly who did.
بس انه الصور اللي كانت معمولة كرمال to entertain people.
Oh yeah.
انه this was the main reason يعني. وبعدين انه لانه you mentioned انه the one you're doing is more انه silk وهيك لانه في كذا
you
variable
have different types
فيها.
of aerials.
يعني مثلا في كمان منهم بيجي مع الهوب او
you have the hoop, you have trapeze, you have straps, you also have hammock.
Okay.
You have a pole that they can hang as well.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if it's called, let's say just pole that you can hang. I'm not sure about the technical name. I'm sorry. I feel bad.
وكونه انه okay, so you did many sports before وشوي I guess انه your workout and trainings are based on this point. Let's say you mentioned at some point rugby, you used to do specific workout for rugby or whatever. When you moved forward toward مثلا هلا
you know, it was never the plan. I never thought that this is where I was gonna end up. For me, I was doing this on the side. It was my way out of whatever was happening.
Okay.
It was, okay, I have time. I want to go do this. I never planned on teaching. You said
I have time, but you skipped that. I have a lot of time. Hey, but exactly. So this is why I want to ask you. So what was like the moment? Eventually, I would assume إنه كلنا we would make the life decision after we receive a degree تبع الجامعة.
Oh no, I was forced to finish it.
إيه بس you feel like when you're still there and then when you have it okay خي ماني ضروري هلا بقى you put it بالجرور.
Oh no, I actually was also pushed into working in architecture because maybe I was doing the wrong decision.
Okay.
Okay, so I was training And one day this little girl comes to me. Like
Okay.
a bunch of small people were like have been looking at me, they have been watching me.
Okay.
And like all the time I was training, they would sit and watch for months at a time. And then one day one of them gets the courage to tell me, can you teach me? And I'm like, no, I can't teach you. I don't know how to teach, but I can show you and you can try it. It's like, it's all I can do. I can't teach. And then once they saw her trying, then everybody wanted to try at different times. So every time I was there, I was showing somebody how to do something, and then like, but I want to train. You know, like I still have a lot to do. There's still, I want to try. So I told them, you know what? Y'all come at the same time, and I will show you all at the same time.
Okay. بس هون لنعرف it's a cute story. So مثلا هن شو كانوا عم بيقطعوا من حدك and they used to see
They
you
used
like...
to have another class. I think it was a drama class at the time.
Okay.
So they would finish this drama class, and while waiting to be picked up or something, they would just like sit and watch.
Okay, nice. Okay, and then you felt like they asked you for that, so قلت لهم okay جمعوا بعضكم and then we meet to try.
Yeah, exactly. Because at that point, I literally had zero time for me to train, because every time I was there, please show me.
Was it stressful?
It was fun.
يعني you were like you told them and then رجعت مثلا على البيت لأنه شو عملت هلا شو كيف بدي أعمل شو بده يصير كيف بدي جهز شيء لهم.
No.
They were kids ولا
They were kids. They were kids, and for me it's like, okay, they're enjoying just climbing, you know, which is like, okay, for me it's safe. I'm not teaching them anything dangerous. I'm okay. At least this I know for sure I have it right. I can't teach them anything else. What do I know? And a little while after that, I actually got inflammation in every single joint in my body. And this is where I learned that I'm doing everything wrong. I'm actually not doing it right. I can't just
and this
go up
was
and try.
تقريبا يعني let's say كنت تقريبا أول سنة جامعة لما you discovered it mainly. يعني قد إيه بعدين لصار this like the kids. You were still at uni يعني.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
هي شو it was architecture is 5 ولا 4?
Depends which university. Mine is Alba. At the time, you didn't get your license without your master's. So it was a minimum of, depending how much you decide to work in university, between if you're amazing, 5 years, and if you're shit, 10 years. So it can vary. I took a year off.
بس نوالنس كمان انه okay بس انه it's very obvious انه at some point انه you were مش انه pressured بس انه you had to give it a try architecture انه كتير كان انه did you try it اخر شيء eventually?
Yeah, I worked in it for I think 2 years.
Okay.
But like I was still doing my proper classes next to it. I was still like, okay, I still have work here, but I have a class now. So I'll be back after if you need me to come back. But I have to go.
To link them شوي يعني بالarchitecture you learn about مثلا the structure والقصص معينة والقصص لهيدا وهيك. I did this might be the only part يمكن that clicked with area لما you saw إنه كيف مرات بيعمل القصص.
Okay, I was always told someday you will use it for what you're doing.
And you did not.
You will use it for what you're doing. Well, I think I've been using it without knowing. You know, like if I'm watching something that I haven't done or I haven't seen before, like if I'm just watching it, I can tell you exactly how it should be done and why it should be done and why is she turning this way and how she's getting that. And I think this has a lot to do with what I did as architecture. Like I have a space vision over everything else.
Okay.
And at the same time, it kind of gave me a big knowledge about safety and structures and where you should hang and where you cannot hang in safe spaces and type of structures, if it's concrete, if it's hollow core, if it's like 10,000 things, and it's like, okay, no, I am using it. Maybe not like directly, but it did help a lot.
Nice. هون لأنه you talked about the safety وهيك so بدنا نحكي عن the elements about it. لأنه okay so نحن we met before and we had this talk and told you لا ما تخبريني بس تقريبا لأنه حكينا شوي إنه there's أنا هيك إنه قلت على السريع two elements a hook and a silk بس إنه what is it composed of شو المكونات تبعها
So you have a specific type of fabric. It's not just any fabric that you can put on your curtains, or you probably can, but I don't think anybody would want to or pick this specific fabric for curtains or bed sheets or the obvious. But it's a special type of fabric that can take about, well, at least the one I buy, about 450 kilos in movement.
Okay.
Okay? Plus, you have the equipment that is also certified and test loaded, which is as much safety as you can guarantee for yourself. But there are things that, like, you have to maintain your fabric, you have to maintain your equipment, you have to know when to change it, you have to take care of it. At the end, this is, you're basing your life on
هو
it.
تقريبا قد ايه بيجي الطول طبعا؟
You decide. You can get as much fabric as you want.
Okay.
It depends on the height that you want to hang it on.
You can on your own cut it يعني إذا you need to, it's safe وتس يعني.
You can.
Okay.
You can get like a large bunch and just cut as much as you want for each one. Yes.
it will not for you.
It will not rip when you cut it.
Yeah. When it comes to you, obviously, you'll have your own. When it comes to science, you have a performance or whatever.
I have a bunch.
شو قصة إنه بتعاني كتير لتلاقيهم the journey to find them.
Specific type of quality, because you have a bunch of qualities.
Yeah.
So by mistake, I found this supplier and I haven't found anything that matches this specific quality. But this specific supplier is now closed. And
بلبنان.
No, it never was in Lebanon. It never even shipped to Lebanon.
Okay.
So they shipped all over, but not to Lebanon from 10 years ago up until now.
Yeah.
And now they have closed.
Okay.
And I cannot find the same fabric anymore, which is...
What's in the US?
Yes.
وكرمال لأنه هيدي شوي عم نغش لأنه I know the backstory بس مثلا what's the biggest one you have بالطول تبعها مثلا?
When you hang it or when you buy the fabric? Because
the final one when you hang it.
About 15 meters.
Okay, لما بتضبيها. Okay.
There's a way to make it smaller.
And لنحكينا الموضوع نحن كيف تغسليها؟
Hand wash. You can only hand wash.
لأنه هيدا ما بتنحط بغسالة.
You put it in your bathtub. You fill your bathtub and you start washing for hours and hours and hours and sometimes days and days and days.
وبعد شغلة خاصة بالموضوع كتير هلا this session. Remember when I told you إنه حكون جاي ومبين مني impressed بس إنه again it's so impressive لأنه I know the backstory بس إنه it's so impressive مثلا إنه the fact إنه فوق على الهوك إنه بتربطيها ربط. There's a specific
You mean on the structure?
Yeah.
It depends on the structure.
Okay.
So sometimes you end up putting a sling around the structure, around the steel structure or like a big beam or everything, but you always back it up.
Okay, بس إنه بين الهوك and the silk.
Oh, you're hanged on a carabiner.
Okay.
So you have your sling around the structure or whatever, and you have your own equipment, which is carabiner mostly, that is in the sling.
You do it yourself?
Depends.
Okay, so مرات no. لأنه كمان الناس لا تعرف.
No, but sometimes I cannot be reaching the heights that they are. Some people can climb all the way up on tiny structures and be very comfortable and then pull up the silks and hang it.
لأنه كمان لأنه عم نحكي هلا إنه غير the fact that you have the training aspect or the performance aspect and all the technical stuff related to the performance itself إنه في يعني كيف a band لما they show up they need to do the sound check and everything وهيدا يعني sometimes إنه when it comes to you لأنه قد إيه مثلا بتوصل let's say on be an event or a place هيدا إنه the guys اللي عاملين structure they're not aware of what.
Oh no, because it was never put initially for us.
Yeah, exactly.
But then you have to have somebody who knows and understands those things to know.
Yeah.
And to like you need a proper rigor also to know where to back you up in case the first one fails.
Exactly.
You have a second one that's holding you. So the day you don't have 2 points, bigger risk. Way bigger risk.
هون صرنا على السلك and you're like let's say you have usually the performance are about how long تقريبا?
Depends on how long you want it to be.
How long is the max you've stayed for?
I have once done 20 minutes.
Wow, okay.
But like not 20 minutes like you saw, 20 minutes of slower. Okay. Not like full power for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Full power 20 minutes, no way.
طب مثلا walk us يعني كيف يبلش انتوا بتكون يعني مثلا I've never seen this part مثلا بتكوني already فوق and then
depends on your choreography. You can start it in any way. There are some choreographies I have started going up with the silk. So I would be attached.
Going up as انه عم تطلع انت ولا بس عم تطلع.
So while the silk is going up in a very performing way, I wrap myself. And I start going up with the silk as in the silk is pulling me up with the generator, with the crane generator that they have. So then once I reach the height that I want, then I can do my drop and keep going. Or
Okay.
like I can go up in any way with the silk.
Okay.
And that's depending on what you have actually.
ومثلا let's say انه صرتي فوق انه هيدا not to specify any type of music او هيدا بس انه يعني how is a good what is a flow يعني related to this يعني مثلا انه يعني شو بيصير يعني مثلا
I
بين
spaced out a little bit, I'm sorry.
يعني مثلا يعني مثلا no I mean when you're اكيد you prepared before يعني بس مثلا انه بتكون it's a mix of what مثلا انه مرات بشوف you guys do مثلا بتصير انه الاجر كمان مربوط على السلك and then there's something else يعني how do you decide how the flow is about
For me,
then مثلا you
it's-
said انه it includes a lot of gymnastics calisthenics زي ما نقول شوي انه الاكيليب وهيك يعني how do you كيف بتركبيها للperformance
I was never able to tell you I want to do these moves.
okay
I can't tell you I want to do these moves.
yeah
But once I'm gonna go up and the music's playing, I will feel it differently.
okay
And this is where I will tell you what I want to do. It's based on what I'm feeling at this specific time with this specific music.
okay
That, and okay, now I want to do this. This is what I feel right now.
But even مثلا let's say في competitions related
Yeah,
to this
I've
but even
been-
the competition is like this
I've been to one worldwide championship in 2019.
when
It was in Turkey that year.
okay
Broke my shoulder, but completely fine. So that specific performance, I still, no matter how much I have trained, and I trained for months at a time for this specific choreography, I changed it
on the spot
on the spot.
okay
The start was the same, and then I don't know, my shoulder happened, but I didn't know it happened. And
هون
then
لنحكي لانه انه you made it feel like it was very easy انه shoulder injury بس لانه اللي ما بيعرفوا انه you had a shoulder dislocation بس
shoulder dislocation with break and tear
and you made it to the podium
yes, third
اللي هو
place.
بس انه you made it فكيف like انه يعني اوكي قد ما كان اول شيء you felt it شو لما كنت فوق
So I started my choreography and everything, and I'm doing something called iron cross roll-ups. So I'm standing like this, arms open, and I'm pressing my body up,
okay
and I keep in a tuck, and I come back down, and the silk is wrapping around my arms.
okay
So that day, my silk was hanged on a dynamic rope, and little did I know that I should not be doing a move like that on dynamic ropes.
ليه
Because as soon as my body went up, fine, my body went down, the silk jumped up with my arms on the side. I should have broke both. One got saved, one did not, but
But okay, but this was like شو halfway through the performance?
no, it was at the pretty much the beginning.
So كملتي.
I didn't feel, I felt something happen to my shoulder, something wrong. I heard a pop or something,
Yeah.
and I'm like, there's no time for me to worry about that right now. I wasn't in pain. I didn't feel anything.
Yeah.
And I kept on going, and then at some point, my hand is supposed to go up. It's like,
It's not.
not going up. Sarah, you have to check. You know something happened. Like, you felt something happen.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not feeling it, but you have to see. So I go upside down. I hook my foot up, and I look at my shoulder. It's my elbow. I'm like, okay, decision time. Do we stop or do we keep going?
Yeah.
For the first time of my life, I went down. And when I went down, all the judges were looking at me like, what's wrong?
Yeah.
And I'm like holding my shoulder, which was here. And I'm like, I dislocated my shoulder.
بس مثلا هون يعني you looked for it انه to know انه مثلا انه what did you call it انه the fact
Dynamic ropes?
that how did you know you were curious to know انه ليه صار هيك يعني و you figured it
No,
out
because as soon as I rigged it, I'm like, shit, it's dynamic ropes.
بس مثلا هون غلط
And I
من مين
I shouldn't have done what I did, knowing that it's bouncing half a meter at the time.
but you
So-
didn't know but they didn't tell you what was
No,
the...
because when they brought it down, they hanged my silk, right?
yeah
Because each one of us gets to decide what do they want to perform on, and you can have your own equipment, which
Yeah.
for me is minimum. I'm gonna have my own. I know where it's been. I know how it is. So they hang it, and I pull my silk down to check that everything, and it goes down half a meter. And I know that my silk is not stretchy. I know that for a fact. And I'm like, this is stretchy. And the woman who hanged it tells me, yes, it is. It's not wrong
Okay.
to hang on
بس ما في
dynamic
specific
ropes.
things you cannot do.
But I should have known that this specific move I should not have done on something that's bouncing half a meter at least.
هون بنرجع موضوع كمان انه لانه what are the odds حدا يوقع.
Depends how prepared you are. هلا I can't tell you that there's a big chance that you're gonna fall.
Yeah.
No, there's not a big chance, because if you know what you're doing, you're decreasing that risk. I can tell you that personally from my part, I know for a fact, I know my body, I know for a fact that when I'm tired, I'm gonna switch to something that's like, if my hands are tired, I'll switch to something that has to do with my hip or my feet. When my feet are tired, I will switch to something with my hands.
بس ما هذا exactly. So while بالهوا و let's say people عم بتفرجوا عليكي and then there's music and there's everything على طول it's to make sure to go from a move to another while يضل السلك عابطك بطريقة معينة.
Not specifically.
يعني مثلا let's say as a first part كان هون مثل ما يسأل at some point مثلا يمكن يكون بس من shoulders يعني كأنه لابسين.
Not really. Not too much. No. That would hurt so much. I don't know. But you have stuff like that.
في إنه from a مش a move maybe from
you're
time
not,
to time.
You're not hanging in midair. That's for sure. You're not like flying midair.
Yeah.
You're always hanging from somewhere.
Exactly. بس إنه from doing a move to another كمان you move the hanging part.
Oh yeah.
يعني ما بقى مش على طول بيضل مثلا على بطنك الهang.
No.
So there's many things happening
at the same time.
إنه غير the fact that إنه you want to do this إنه okay أنت هلا إنه I'm gonna move from this one to this one كمان I need to make sure that إنه السلك عابطني من هون هالمرة ومش من هون أو whatever.
This is stuff you figure out when you're training.
Okay.
This is not things that you're gonna figure out when you're performing. When you're performing, you will have a lot of elements that will bug you, especially if you're outdoors. When you're outdoors, if the wind pops up, you're in trouble. Your silk can just fly away.
Yeah.
If you're not making sure, like even if you're hanging from your hands, if there's proper wind, everything under it, all the silk under it will open up like a perfect curtain and will just really fly away.
Okay.
Even if you're holding it, it looks really good in pictures. But it's hell. It's tiring. This is when like you really have to know what you're doing and you really have to know how to control it and really know yourself.
Yeah. وهون لما في dress code معين يعني مثلا في type of clothes بيصير زحط على السلك ولا؟
هلا preferably you don't want your skin on the silk.
Why?
It sticks, it burns, it hurts. It's
most
of the things that you do with skin, the silk will get stuck.
Okay.
Sometimes you want to slide. If you're going to slide on your skin, you're going to have a big, beautiful burn. And if you keep going on that burn, they become permanent burns.
Yeah. So that's why يمكن كتير من المرات بشوف إنه بيكونوا لابسين تقريبا مثل ثياب الجيمناست أو إنه full on.
You probably don't need full on arms, depending on what you're doing as moves. You might not need full on legs, but most of the time you do.
Okay.
Depends literally on which moves you are choosing and what specifically you're going to do. I'm going to say mostly you don't want your thighs to be uncovered. You don't want your hips. Mostly.
Okay.
More than the rest.
Only the main center of.
You actually want them to be covered, even if it's something colored skin. Even if people are not going to know something is there, you probably want something there.
هون كمان نحكي عن the part. So اليوم غير the practice that you do and the trainings that you do. في specific workouts that you do relate يعني مثلا this type of sports require مثلا strong shoulders, back.
A lot of core. I'm not saying you don't need your shoulders and you don't need your back and you don't need your legs, but you mostly need your core.
Okay.
Mostly.
So you do مثلا
from experience, everything that you do as training will specifically help. But none of it will be equal as if you are training on your silk.
Okay.
None of it. You don't have anything where you're training with grips this way. Unless you're hanging a towel around the bar or something, which my trainer did to me, because I hate the feeling of a bar. So your grip is sideways. It's vertical. It's not horizontal like most things. It works different muscle. It works in a different way. holding yourself like this changes the way you're going to use your body, which muscle you're going to engage, how you're going to use your forearm muscles to do that.
Okay.
Everything.
بس مثلا يعني you have a specific plan, workout plan كمان in parallel ولا how does it
Right
work?
now, I'm not the one who's taking care of my own plan because
Yeah, بس انه you do يعني مثلا you يعني مثلا كيف انه let's say just a normal gym goer would مثلا do انه upper body, lower body.
it
You have
helps.
okay.
It helps. It definitely helps. I do have a specific one now. Yes, I am working on crazy moves.
Okay.
Like,
Just to keep in mind you should not be stiff.
I used to be very stiff.
هيدا قصدي بس
But
منه منيح
silk kind of opened up a lot of unlocked a lot of flexibility that I never thought I would see in my
But
life.
you've never done مثلا stretching sessions and many
I did.
No, you include them in your
did.
Yeah.
I worked for 5 years
ده مثلا
on
when you
flexibility to get the minimum.
and when you say مثلا coming from sports like rugby وهيك stiff انه مش
Stiff.
نفس الشيء
Do you
مثلا
know
يوم
how
مثلا
contradictory it was
ايه
to do rugby and CrossFit and do silk?
هذا كان بدي اسال
People would look at me like, are you sure? They don't go together. How are you doing it?
Is it actually يعني مثلا يعني لانه هذا that was gonna be my question إنه مثلا when you look at it in rugby وهيدا وصريخ او CrossFit هيدا is it a gentle sport?
It's not gentle. I'm not going to say that like you're patting somebody on the back, but it's not as aggressive as people see it from outside.
Okay.
It's very technical. If you know how you're technically tackling somebody, I'm not going to say that you don't want to put the power in it, but you're not going to actually injure the other person if you're doing it right for the most part.
لا انا عم بحكي عن aerial.
Aerial,
يعني
aggressive?
to compare ايه يعني لا يعني
They are very opposite.
شو that's why I'm انه
Extremely.
يعني rugby is very انه هيك
In every possible way.
بس aerial is actually gentle as انه we see it.
Even
a lot of suffering.
Even if you are going for the most angry choreography where you're putting all the energy and you're going from side to side and throwing your body and letting go and catching and everything, it's still soft and it's still, I know a lot of people are going to have a problem with that, but my opinion at least, it's still very graceful. You can be doing all the aggressive things and the dramatic things in a very graceful way. And I believe aerials altogether are very graceful.
Okay.
Unlike all the other sports, yes.
هلا لانه now that we have a better idea of everything مثلا after هول الولاد اجوا وشافوا the performance او this let's say class that you gave انه ما كنت عارفه بقى
At the time, it was just, I don't know.
وشو صار بعدين؟
At some point I got to, okay, this is actually happening. People are actually showing up. I have to make sure that I know what I'm doing. I really have to know. So I went and I got certified, and I was pissy about all the certifications I took because, like, please teach me something. I haven't taught myself. Please. There were very, very little information that I hadn't known or figured out with time.
But when you went for the certification for the class.
Doesn't change the fact that I started very wrong. I started in a mindset, I'm just happy about doing this. I don't care about warming up. I don't care about stretching. I just want to do this. Well, this needs proper preparation. This I'm compensating in because I'm compensating in later on gave me problems. I had no clue. I found out after injuries.
Okay.
Not severe ones like the shoulder, but...
so moving forward مثلا again نرجع الموضوع. So you decide مثلا to do your first actual class?
I was asked to give my first actual class, and I looked at them like I thought I was doing it, you know. And when people are showing up,
for you to go do the certificates, why would you do the certificates?
I did it for my my peace of mind, you know, like I wanted to be comfortable knowing, you know, like I am sure of what I'm doing because before that, there was no way of me knowing.
Yeah. When عملتيهم?
I did a bunch of them.
بس إنه في منهم بلبنان صح؟
None of them are in Lebanon except for one that they got to Lebanon with a specific studio, and it was a hoop one, not a silk one.
Okay.
Looking
بس
forward
mainly
to
وين بأي countries مثلا؟
They were in the States. They were in not London, next to it.
شيء هونيك.
UK. You have Circfit. I'm not sure where they were. Circuit is the one I did here.
اوكي بس هولي يعني نحكي تقريبا throughout the years يعني انه كذا مره كل ما تشوفي شيء كنت عم بتجربي وهيدا. When
I didn't go for just any of them. I researched a lot and I thought I was
Yeah.
going for the right ones, you know.
oh, it's obvious that you tried many of them to figure out بس انه اخر شيء
There were some online as well. It was different.
لانه technically, correct me if I'm wrong, now you know what used to be first, you know, something you're just curious about and then figure it out and throughout the
Turned out to be my life.
ايه انه هلا مثلا you're انه either performing or teaching صح؟ So في at some point صار في a life decision انه خلص انه it's gonna
It's the way things happened. It's the way things happen. I never wanted to work in architecture. I was already so in love with aerials. But I was pushed into architecture and my boss was a lovely man, honestly. Like, I couldn't just leave because he was a lovely man. He was like very decent guy and you can't just...
شي مرة حضر one of your هيدا؟
Huh?
شي مرة حضر one of your performance؟
They were watching my competition, the worldwide one. They were all watching it in the office.
Okay, nice. At the time you were already not
No, I was
part
still
of the-
working there.
Okay.
And they were all watching it. And then, like, as soon as the accident happened, like, Sarah, why did you go down? Like, guys, I broke my shoulder.
قلنا لك متى. بس no, hey, so بعدين, and I want to get to the point when you were like, okay, خلص, no, I need to figure out a way to just, مش just, بس no, make this a living and a passion. لأنه eventually كمان في the factor that okay. we all need to get a job to make money and live.
Yeah.
بس نفس الوقت إذا you're not مثلا architecture, you're not enjoying it, you're not gonna stay there and then you're gonna go somewhere else.
For me, the big switch was, you know, in architecture, when you have an actual project.
Yeah.
When you leave the office, it's not over. Your brain is still working. You still know that you have to finish this and this and this. And sometimes you'd finish the work at home and you wouldn't care. Not that my boss would agree at it, at anything, but sometimes you have to. Like, you don't have a choice. You have a deadline, you have a deadline. And then you always have deadlines, time after time after time. And then you see the way architects and big project managers live. You have no weekends, you have no time off, you have no nights. Like, you have phone calls at any point and you just have to take it. You have zero time off, zero stress-free, zero vacation, zero proper vacation. So, like, it's not what I want. I went through a lot of stress, a lot of shit. Like, I had my dose. I'm happy putting it aside.
Okay.
Very happy because for me, this is what I was doing. For me, I was just taking all the poison out of my life. Done. Gone. Please.
وكمان قصة the class لأنه for someone لأنه many would just stick to being a performer and not كمان teaching. For someone to decide to teach يعني أول شيء له جلادة.
Hey, I have an answer for you.
إيه ومرة obviously كمان بيان لأنه this was my question. Does it come from the fact غير قصة إنه الجلاد هيك جلاد ولا لا? Does it come from the fact that إنه أنت at your time ما لقيتي حدا إنه بلبنان, so maybe you كمان wanted to spread the information and teach people about it?
The thing is, at some point, I decided, you know what? No more teaching. There were people who are willing to take over. They were good enough. Like for me, we're like, we all started together around the same time. We all know each other. We're like, somebody do it. I want off.
But this was after how long?
Something had happened and it's just decision I made. No more teaching.
وما حنحكي
Just
بس تقريبا I did a lot of teaching يعني for then this to happen.
It was over a year, I think.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I can't give a
لا بس no
specific
duration
time
that is kind of short.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
long. Not
Okay.
very long, but not very short either.
Okay.
Like, I don't know what is long and what is short, but okay.
Architecture at Alba is long.
Depends for which person. This is why. It's very specific to somebody.
So you moved out.
So I decided no more teaching.
Okay.
Somebody took over for me and a few weeks later, I get a call from my students and I get texts and like, why did you leave? We need you. They don't teach like you. It's not the same. I'm like, did I make the wrong decision?
Mm.
Like, why? What's wrong? What's different? And then I went to see. And I'm like, okay, I know it's different and it's okay. I didn't look for it. I didn't push it. But then I felt bad.
Mm.
You know, like, I'm letting all those people down. But I'm the one who got them into it in the first place. It's not fair. I felt like shit. And this is where I decided, okay, I'm gonna do it again. But like, smaller, tinier, just
Okay. بس هون
didn't stay that way.
بس هولي the classes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Funny thing.
ايه.
But 2-3 weeks ago, I run into my first student. Well, the sister of my first student ever.
Okay.
And she was like, Sarah, she still recognized me after 10 years. She told me it's been 10 years. I was 8, I'm 18 now. It was never the same after you. Even my sister said enough.
Okay.
And for me, that was like...
But was it something famous ولا كمان يعني تقريبا يعني
No.
تقريبا when you discovered it was at the beginning of كمان يعني مثلا
The beginning of the beginning of the
صح؟
beginning of the beginning.
So لأنه when you look back and when you look now مثلا I would
it's very
assume
different.
إنه مش كل جيم بس إنه it's a
Now-
class إنه صار عنا إيه اليوم تاعهم هيك
But it's not aerial
بطاطا
yoga.
يعني.
Let's agree.
But they
Aerial
promote it
yoga-
as if it's the same.
Yeah, I know. But it's not the same.
إيه.
You also have, on hammock, you have aerial yoga, but you also have a different way of
Yeah.
using the hammock that is very acrobatic. You can use the hammock like the silk, depending
But again,
on the
they
height.
made it commercial they label it
Oh,
as
yeah.
a thing
Oh, yeah.
بتصير
Like
مثل
everything.
البطاطا يعني. ما هون لأن this was my question and لما you got back to this class the students what do they look for? Is it just a mid-week class ليتعلموا شيء جديد و
Every
that's it?
person is different.
يعني some people مثلا هلا again I want to ask كمان this way إنه قد إيه الريشيو بين شباب وبنات؟
Big
يعني
difference.
في
Big difference,
شباب؟
but
Okay.
But there is a big difference. The only guys that we have are the people who are out of the normalcy because they don't want to. The Lebanese mind. I'm sorry.
إيه.
The
لا.
Lebanese mind is very, very I don't know,
constipated.
very extremely doesn't start to explain it.
But that's why إنه كان بدي أشوف إنه إذا طلع في
It's
كتير ساعات بس إنه
too much.
But when we go to the women's side إنه اللي بيشاركوا some of them it's more about the feminine aspect of إنه doing like a perform إنه how
For
does it
every
work?
person it's different.
Is
Okay?
it comparable to pole?
In what way?
Approach يعني مثلا a lot of لأنه حكينا قبل الموضوع a lot of people that attend مثلا pole أو غيره it's not because إنه هي بكرة رح تكون a stage performer or whatever
I don't
it
think-
brings a feminine side that because of society or whatever في إنه محل فشة خلق
ما رح لك ما في فشة خلق في
Yeah.
فشة خلق but for every person it's different.
yeah
For people who are coming into it just because they want to be performers, just because of that, they will never make it. Because those people are the people who are not willing to put the work in. And silk is very physical. It requires a lot. You have a long process. You have very boring technicalities. You have very boring muscle engagement to get over. It's not that you can just do it. One tiny mistake can just slip the silk down a little bit where you don't want it. It can slip it a little bit higher. It can break your rib. It can bruise anything you want. It can catch a nerve.
في ناس فلوا because of that
A lot.
yeah
A lot of people started, have felt like this is too much work. There's easier things. Let me switch. As simple
do you
as
think
that.
that at some point إنه لأنه في كتير sports بلبنان they just trend يعني مثلا إنه صار في at some point هيك فجأة a boom على الكلاسز from your end مثلا and then بعدين إنه في كتير ناس that pulled out أو إنه whatever.
Not specifically. Not in silk specifically.
Okay.
In silk specifically, I cannot say that there was a boom.
It's
Now it might be starting. I feel like now there's some type of boom that is starting. But trendy people who are doing it just for the trend will never.
مش هيك يعني مثلا كيف هلا كمان خفت شوي بس انه مثلا at some point انه زومبا انه زومبا كلاسز وكل جماد we have زومبا وبعدين
But this
خلص.
is the difference. Zumba is not the physical effort that
Yeah.
aerials require.
Yeah.
Just for a trend, there are very few people that will make this much effort.
Plus انه it's a niche kind of.
In what way?
يعني مثلا اليوم I don't يعني لأنه mention مثلا إنه on social media وهيك يعني مثلا ما بفتح مثلا and I find many gyms أو many facilities إنه guys we have aerial أو إنه guys لأنه بيعتبروا إنه كمان doesn't get the audience that much.
No,
So it's
it's
a
not
niche
just
thing.
that. First of all, you have a risk. You have a risk that's
ما
involved.
بيتحملوا المشكلة كمان.
Deja, without even talking about anything that is space required. You have a risk. If somebody falls, it's not a fall like you tripped and fell.
بس to keep in mind بتحطوا ماتس تحت الهيدا صح؟
Of course.
Okay.
For the vision only. I don't believe in maths. But honestly, no. If I'm at 14 meter height
No عم بحكي
and I fall,
بالclasses.
of course.
هلا when it comes to you انتوا عم تنزلي بقول انه I will miss her she was a good person بتطلع ايه.
No, but honestly, like if I'm at 14 meters and something wrong happens and I'm falling, you think a mat, no matter how thick it is, will save me? Depends how I'm falling, but definitely I'm severely injured. Personally, my point of view is I don't want to be injured.
I want to كمان bring back لما قعدنا مرة وحكينا أنا حخبرها أصلا لما أنا قلت لك أوكي إنه do you guys have a specific insurance هيدا عم أنت قلتي لي أوكي أنا فوق أنا وقاعد do you really think إنه رح يضل شي فيه للإنشورنس تظبطني؟ إيه so كمان يعني.
And not just that, like for somebody like me who loves sports, do you imagine if someday I'm paralyzed walking in a chair? No, thank you. I don't think that I would be able to take it.
Okay.
At all. At all.
طيب ما هون لأنه so you do have this fear. We all do بس أنت willingly حطيتي حالك فوق. Are you afraid يعني بعد سنين حتى لو تبلشي فوق قبل ما تبلشي.
Depends.
Are you afraid?
Okay. Once you switch setting, if it's not somebody you exactly trust 10,000%, it's a new setting, it's a new rigging. The first thing that comes to mind is let me take it slowly. Let me just climb up, see how it feels. If something feels wrong, there's always this thing at first, it's normal. It's not my rigging. No matter where you rig, there's always, no matter what, there's a risk. You try to make it as small as possible, but it exists. And there's no denying it. Everything we do is risky.
Yeah.
Something can happen. But if I'm going to just focus on that, I would not do anything. It is that way for me in a lot of other sports, which is very funny. Climbing, I'm terrified.
But
like,
you do it.
I'm trying to do it.
You do a lot of.
I start shaking altogether. Parkour, gymnastics. I am terrified.
Okay.
Terrified. Like, it's funny how terrified I am because it's different.
Yeah.
Ladders, I don't go up.
Like a normal ladder?
I don't go up on ladders.
Okay.
I cannot control a ladder. What if the ladder shakes and it's not my legs that are on the ground? It's the ladder's legs. I'm not in control of it. The feeling on silk is very different. No matter what height you're at, you're there. But it's, you're not going to let go.
Yeah.
You're just not going to, okay. No. You're there and you're controlling everything you do. If your hands are tired, you have your feet. If your feet are tired, you have your hip. And worst case scenario, slide down.
How?
Wrap your foot and slide.
مثلا when the performance is done, you do actually slide all the time ولا مرات بينزلوكي مثل
You can drop, which is a lot faster. But if you're in trouble and you have no more energy, you're going to slide. You're going to wrap your foot and slide the most basic way.
In terms of setups, where would you enjoy performing most? إذا في audience. يعني مثلا.
Never thought about it.
لأن مثلا إنه مرات بشوف إنه okay, I'm gonna say it as it. بس مثلا مرات I feel like إنه it's placed at the wrong setup. يعني مثلا إنه I've seen it a couple of times on videos. يعني مثلا to see it بسهرة and then you're in the background is she.
It's different.
إيه.
When you are in a theater setup, when you are in a play, when you are it's a complete different feeling.
And
That
meaning.
if you are doing it just to perform for people, just to like, you can turn them all into the same thing. But when you are performing for people just to perform, no matter what trick you pull, they don't care.
Exactly.
They want to see two things: split, spit,
ليه؟
drop. That's it. That's impressive for them, because they don't know what it can actually be. Nobody, well, most people here have no clue how much and where and what this can give you, what it can look like. Nobody has seen or seen enough the artistic part of it, the dance part of it, the feeling part of it.
But where do you mostly showcase it? كsetups again. يعني بلبنان. It's very important. I know.
I got a few good chances to do it in that specific type of setup. The theater ones.
Okay.
I've been in Casino a bunch,
So
especially
literally you
with,
become part of the story.
in the theaters that I've done. I am part of the story. I am explaining some type of thing that happened in the story that was not completely clear, or I'm adding something to that.
How do you usually get approached when it comes to these things?
Depends.
Okay.
Sometimes it's word of mouth. Sometimes it's somebody saw me do some type
And
of
you get
performance,
asked for your
and they saw something very specific that they liked, and like, let's try it that way.
بس مثلا how does it work? مثلا let's say لأنه this is the interesting part. مثلا أنا بجي, I have this play I'm doing or whatever. I give you the script and you figure out what would work.
No.
يعني your performance on stage has to be based كمان with the mood of the play.
Exactly. They would tell me, you have this part of the play, you have this act, you have this song. This is what's happening in the play. This is what we want to project. This is what we need. This is what we're lacking. Work with it. Very few people can tell me, no, use this move instead of this one. There are very few choreographers I would actually ask the opinion of, like, should I use this or this? Because those people have a different vision. They see things differently. Very few, again.
Well, when it comes to, لأنه you mentioned إنه other performers أو هيك, when it comes to لبنان, لأنه شوي كمان نحكي هلا عن this partly we talked off camera. Do you guys gather? Do you guys do seminars, workshops? مش for amateur. يعني بين بعضكم. Do you find it?
To go perform or to go
No, you
learn?
guys meet. Yeah, مثلا let's say اليوم. At this point you're a pro بهذا.
You can always learn.
أكيد بس إنه 100 مرة you'd rather يكون أنا وأنت عم نعمل سلك سوا من إنه مع someone else that is كمان eventually being a performer and so on. No, it helps. Do you learn from others too? مش from classes.
I learn from everybody that's around me, whether it's positive or negative, from everybody who's doing it.
Okay.
There's something that you can always see that you've missed, in a good way and in a bad way.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look, I never thought that this could be possible like this. Great. Oh no, shit, look at what's happening here. This can actually happen? Oof.
ما هون كمان سؤالي, did specific people influence the, يعني مثلا sports مثلا بيطلع من this region أو بلد بيوصل على غير بلد بيتغير. يعني مثلا was it, يعني صار في an oriental touch عليها مثلا بالمنطقة. So, يعني مثلا do you use Arabic music مرات? How does it work?
Some people do.
يعني مثلا is the split as nice يكون on English music than Arabic music?
You can interpret any music that you like.
Okay.
Anything, as long as you're doing it with the music. But the problem here is that very few people here in Lebanon are actually capable of following a music or like going with it.
ليه?
Ego? A shitload of it. Sadly, a shitload of it. And
بس مثلا
it's sad.
such as
I'm gonna give you an example. I don't know if I should.
في حدا بيمون.
No, it's not that. For example, we're pulling a circus convention.
Yeah.
Well, not, I'm just teaching there. Mostly it's Judy. She's pulling a circus convention of 5 days.
اللي هي هلا soon.
Next week.
Yeah.
Don't you expect You have teachers from abroad. You have 3 professional people coming from abroad to teach here. It's not expensive. Not going to say it's cheap, but it's not expensive. It's affordable for everything that's being offered. Plus, if somebody has a problem with it, everybody's willing to pitch in. Don't you expect all the leading aerialists of the country
to be there?
Leading aerialists of the country to show up, to tell their students about it, to make sure that this community is brought together by those people who are coming from abroad, because apparently we're not good enough. Don't you expect them to be there? At least have the curiosity to know what's happening. Big part of the thing, the circus convention, is based on performance. It's based on theatricals, how to set it up, how to mount it. And it's on all types of aerials, not just silk, not just hoop, not just one part, all of it. Don't you think you're supposed to have a big hype around it?
So, can you tell me...
Ego, only.
Can you tell me about it شوي? يعني what, it's 5 days.
It's 5 days. There's a villa. You can sleep there, obviously. You can stay. Well, we want you to stay to help grow the community, get to bond with everybody. But basically, you have workshops from morning to night, plus show preparation. You have Friday's show, Saturday shows. For anybody who is there and wants to do it. You have an art director that's coming from abroad that's helping set it up every day. They are preparing you, they are teaching you, they are pushing you, they are giving you a chance to have all this. Get the experience, get the bond, get to try all circus types of things. Basically, you have a full-on camp that we usually would travel for, but it's here.
What's new يعني انه
It's the second year.
انه it's impressive انه بعد انه تقريبا شو صار قاطع وهيك انه to bring it up و make it happen is not that easy وتجيب ناس من برا وتقنعهم يجوا على لبنان وهذا الشيء كله it's not easy too يعني. I wanted to add one more thing. When you look back and now انه تقريبا شو يعني مثل ما you said you learned a lot. You learned a lot too throughout the journey from in can teaching or performing. Where do you see yourself eventually? And at some point, do you feel like you would be just doing one thing related to Aryan?
My thing is silk. I can do all of them, but my thing is
ما بقى يعني مثلا more being a competitor, competing أو إنه في شيء معين.
I don't know.
Yet.
Honestly,
I
want all of them. I like the part of teaching.
في an age معين. Then at some age ما بقى خلص.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I am starting to feel old. My recovery time is different than what it used to be.
Yeah.
What I didn't care about doing, like let's say before I used to like يلا بكيب حالي. I cannot do that anymore because it affects my body in a different way that it used to. So now I'm like, no. So there's like
frame صغيرة.
مش frame, but I feel a difference, you know? I actually feel it, and it's sad that I'm saying it. I'm not supposed to feel it yet, or I don't know, maybe I should.
Yeah.
But
are you planning any competition soon or she will?
Yes.
Oh, when?
I don't know where yet.
Okay, but you want to compete?
Not for me, for everybody here.
So you want to do it in Lebanon?
Yes.
It's going to be
We did one
level.
last year. I want to do one this year again.
Oh, last year was the first one يعني?
Yeah, but it was small scale. Like
بلشتوا بس مهم بلشتوا. Nice. Okay, and you're aiming for this year إنه يكون فيه?
Yes.
Nice. Okay, on a bigger scale يعني the idea.
On a bigger scale, definitely.
بيضل في questions.
That's okay.
One more thing. How do you judge مثلا competitions? شو بيها إنه what
you have a part that is on the difficulty of the moves. You have a part that is on artistry. You have a part that is on technicality. Those are the 3 main categories of the competition.
Okay.
But then you have all the fine details about expression, about dress code, about like making somebody live it with you.
Okay, so I'm assuming there would be many judges.
You have 3. Last competition you had 3 بس
okay.
Each one has a specific target.
Nice. I think this is the best way to end it. إنه hoping إنه شكلها بالصيفية حتكون.
No, a bit later. Summer is just hectic.
حكون بنشوف شو عم يصير.
Keeping it interesting all over the year. Now there's a circus convention. A bit
بس
after
لا
summer.
ما this is the problem إنه there's many small initiatives that are very promising بس إنه ما حدا عم يحكي فيهم. بس إنه they're like إنه full on like إنه في شغل عم ينحط إنه it's not بس عم بيرقع حدا عم إنه في many passionate projects happening يعني. Hopefully بنشوف شو بيصير يعني وهيك. و again thank you so much for your time. و that's it, you made it.
Thank you for having me.